All right, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be making a stuffed pita. We're gonna use TVP as the meat substitute. So we got that rehydrating right now. You can use water to rehydrate or just vegetable broth. Now we're gonna go ahead and prepare our veggies that we're gonna use to stuff with the TVP into the pita. We're gonna start off with bell peppers. These are just regular Japanese peppers, so they're a little bit smaller. It does take a little bit longer to get these, chopped up and everything. But you just want to start by slicing and just cutting them up into how you want to just dice them instead of into strips. Just dice them up because we're going to stuff all this into the pita. And like I say, with these smaller peppers, they do take a little bit longer. All right, so we got our bell peppers cut up. Now let's go to our mushroom. And you can use any type of mushroom you like for this one. And you're just gonna cut it up dice it up also with the mushrooms. You don't wanna have like big chunks. You wanna make sure everything is diced up because we're gonna stuff all this into the pita. All right, once we get those, everything chopped up, now let's go ahead and saute our onions first. I already have the onions chopped up on the side, so we're going to use that. We're going to saute our onions first. And you want to saute the onions in either avocado oil, grapeseed oil, and you want to saute for maybe like 5 to 6 minutes until they have a nice brown to them. So let's get those in. All right, once we have them nice and brown, now let's put in the rest of our fillings. We have our bell peppers and mushrooms. So we'll go ahead and dump those in, and we're going to go ahead and saute the mushrooms and bell peppers along with the onions for another 3 to 4 minutes. All right, so let's add our onion powder. We got our cumin. I'm just going to mix everything again, make sure all the seasonings are getting mixed well in with the mixture. Now let's put our tomato paste in there. Some more of our spices. So we're using ground coriander, paprika, smoked paprika, cinnamon, salt and pepper, and cumin and garlic powder. You're also going to use the minced garlic if you want to. But with this recipe, I just used the garlic powder. So let's mix everything again to cook that for a while. You just want to make sure all the spices and the veggies, get everything just mixed all together. Make sure those flavors just come together. All right, so now let's add in our TVP, our rehydrated TVP, textured vegetable protein. We're going to use some coconut aminos. Now let's just mix everything up. You just want to make sure all the flavors are getting mixed in with the TVP. The thing I like about TVP, it takes on the flavor of whatever you have. So it really holds flavor good. So just want to mix everything in and fold those flavors in and out of the mixture. All right, so the last thing you want to do is add a tablespoon of tahini. It's going to add a little bit of creaminess to it. All right, so we got our mixture done. Now let's prepare our pitas. What you want to do is take each pita and cut it in half. Then you want to make sure you take your time with pulling them apart. If you rush through this, you can tear the pita. So just make sure you take your time, just pull it apart. All right, so now let's stuff our pitas. So take a generous amount or however you want to do it, but just put in the pita and make sure it's spread out throughout the pita. And then you can just use your fingers and use your hands just to squish the pita so you can evenly distribute everything inside the pita. And as you can see, I have a slight tear on that one. So like I said, just be careful with opening your pitas. You want to keep them intact. We're just going to do the same thing for each pita, stuff it, and make sure that the filling is evenly distributed inside the pita. All right, and this is our last one. And this, by the way, is a really cheap dish to do. The pitas don't cost a lot, and also the TVP is very cheap. And of course, your vegetables are not expensive at all. And it's easy to do, easy meal prep. All right, before we start cooking our pitas, we're going to go ahead and, before we start pan frying, we're going to go ahead and put a little butter, vegan butter with garlic powder in it. We're just going to put these on the outside of it, just lightly brush them. This way you add a nice crisp to the pita and you have that nice buttery taste to it. Just do it to both sides. You want to flip them over after you do one side, and just continue to brush the butter on the pitas. And you also can, instead of using TVP, you can also use lentils also. So these are very versatile. It's just up to whatever you like. All right, so now let's pan fry our pitas. Now you can put them in the oven, but to me, I just like the pan fry. It gives a little bit more crispy. The oven, it may dry it out just a little bit, but I like doing it in the pan. It's the best way to do it. But once again, it's up to your preference. So now let's just put our pitas in. And we're gonna cook maybe like 3 to 4 minutes on each side or until it's crispy. And as you can see, they have a nice brown on the outside of it. And then you just want to let it cook 3 to 4 minutes on the other side. And there you have it. That is your stuffed pita. It's a mix of Indian flavors, spices, a little bit of sweetness, and it's very flavorful. My kids loved it. It's a good, easy, quick meal that you can make, and it's very versatile. So like this video, subscribe. See you next time.